Members of people with disability advises President Muhammadu Buhari to appoint 5% of them in his cabinet. The national leader of people with disability, Tolu Bankole, urges President Muhammadu Buhari to appoint people with disability as minister in his cabinet, regardless to gender. Speaking at the APC People with Disability National Summit for state and national leaders in Abuja, Olumide Olaniyan assured people with disability that they will partake in the election process 2023 and also given the accessibility beyond politics. Moreover, Jide Ojo speak on gender inequalities, assured women with disability that they will be given opportunity in political offices. However, the state leader with disability, Samuel JP, said that disability is not inability.
And you recall that in our address also charging just to put a final nail on this coven of discrimination. We appeal to him before he leaves office as president to please appoint one of us, one PWD as minister in this cabinet. That will be his parting gift to PWD, and we appreciate it. Any one of us, whether a woman, whether a man, he should just go ahead and do that, and that will serve as a big encouragement to other state governors to go ahead and appoint PWD as commissioners in their states.
How can we eradicate inequalities, gender inequalities in people with disabilities?
That's also a very important issue, and when you listen to my address, I talk extensively also about the inclusion of PWD women and children in all our programs. I'm here to correct all the odds. I'm here to make sure that the rights of PWD in general, whether a woman, whether a child, is protected. And that's what I'm going to do in my policies, in my statements, in my actions. You see me defending that. They are very important, and I want to assure you that they will not be left behind.
Your name, sir?
I'm Honorable Tolu Bankole, the national leader, PWD, APC. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Efforts should also be made by us to ensure that workers are recruited, persons with disability are part of people that are part of the electioneering process as the election process continues to progress. The United Nations Convention on Persons with Disability, for instance, has also stated that we do not have excuse as a country or as institutions that as state party we have responsibility to train and to ensure that disability inclusion is achieved in all that we do. Then during the election phase, GD has also recommended that proud voting for all categories of persons with disability is important. We, of course, talk of equality and equity. Like I said earlier, that persons with disability are not looking for sympathy, they are talking of empathy. That they are voting first do not mean because we want to help or we want to pity persons with disability. What that means is that we are giving what they call reasonable accommodation, that is giving space and fairness for persons with disability to be part of the process. Because, for instance, if it's somebody with albinism, we all know that a person with albinism may not be able to stay under the sun for quite a long time. So if we allow such a person to vote first, it also means that we have made effort to deliberately include and involve persons with disability in the process that we do. Then the poll workers, that we also need to include persons with disability to be part of this. Of course, we should not look at the barrier. We should make effort to address those barriers. If, for instance, the place is not accessible, and register with political parties, and then we, as our address of the population, we need to change our attitude to persons with disability. In conclusion, GD has said that persons with disability can lead if given the opportunity, as example from the global community have shown. He said, tackling this challenge of inclusivity, accessibility, participation, and sustainability go beyond the law and policies. There is need for change in the mindset of the general public to see persons with disability as human with rights and privileges. To wrap it up, and it's also to reiterate again that when we talk about disability it's not the impairment. The impairment, as I mentioned earlier, is what we see when we see persons with visible disability. Let me also state quickly that there are also non-visible disability. Person with, if you see a person with hearing impairment, for instance, for the first time, you don't even know he is a person with disability. But then, of course, there are also some other person with psychosocial disability. A lot of all these disability are issues that we need to look at wholeheartedly and look at how we can further mainstream them into the constitution of the APC. Thank you so much.
We have the prerequisite. We are competent to be appointed ministers, appoint ministers, director general, federal permanent secretaries, and other endeavors. We have the can't I be appointed minister? Can't I be appointed director general in the office of endeavor? Yeah, likewise, every person with disabilities. Since we have the prerequisite to go ahead, disability is it inability? It's not inability. So we have to do something. There's no way you can see a person with disability being an ESCO member, but it's not good. We cannot be appointed commissioners and others. So like what they are talking, we can be appointed commissioners, we can be appointed ministers, we can be appointed in employment policies. The states are trying, especially my state is trying to adopt a system where people with disabilities can be employed.
Persons with disabilities. However, gender inequality also features even as we discriminate against persons with disability, because when you talk of PWD, you have both men and women in that community of persons with disability. And what the law says is that even if you are not a person with disability, during elections, you should be granted what is called priority voting, which means that you don't have to queue like the rest of the people to be attended to. And not only PWDs, even women and elderly people, pregnant women, nursing mothers are also granted priority voting, which is quite in order. But in terms of gender, that is another kettle of fish that is also being worked on to ensure that our women folk are given opportunities to also get elected into political offices rather than just depending on appointments.